until you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
Core TV News, expanding your view.
A warm welcome to Core TV Primetime News. I am Frank Omalape. And our major stories tonight. Presidency denies President Goodluck Jonathan plans visit to tension-soaked Chibok in Borno State on Friday. Also in this program, President of Christian Association of Nigeria, Ayo Orishe Jaffa, seeks full-scale emergency role for Adamawa, Borno, and Yobe. The federal government turns down call by a suspected mastermind of the October 1, 2010 bombing in Abuja, Herioka, for a family doctor to determine his fitness to stand trial. And outside Nigeria, 2 bomb attacks in a busy market in the Kenyan capital of Nairobi leave 10 people dead and over 70 others injured. Thank you for joining us again. Now's the detail. The presidency has denied that President Goodluck Jonathan planned to visit Chibok in Borno State. A spokesman, Ruben Abati, said in a statement issued in Abuja at about 1 p.m. local time that no such trip was fixed for today. There are speculations that an unfavorable security report stopped the president from visiting the town where hundreds of schoolgirls were abducted. But Abati insisted that it's not possible to cancel a non-existent trip. Revealed that the president is expected in France for a meeting with Chad, Niger, and Cameroon on the best way to deal with the Boko Haram insurgents. Some Nigerians have reacted to the President Goodluck Jonathan's cancellation of a proposed visit to Chibok, where over 200 schoolgirls were abducted by the militant group Boko Haram over a month ago. The presidency has denied any cancellation, saying stories about the planned visit were rumors. However, the inability of the president to meet with the relatives of the abducted girls has generated reactions from the public.
The president is supposed to be the most secure person in the country. If the president is not secure enough to be there, then I don't think there's anybody again that is secured around that area. So I think to the security agencies, it's not a good signal that they should not secure the area for the president to visit.
Because the government, the president going to Chibok today is already very, very late. If the Nigerian government really has the people as hearts, when this event happened, why did he dare go there on time? Even some hours after the event or the tragedy.
You would agree with me that being the #1 leader of this country, he ought to visit the site of where the abduction of the girls took place, if not for any other thing, to have a first-hand information there. But earlier on, I learned that he was to visit Chibok, after which he left for France. But him cancelling the Chibok visit is, I don't think it's a positive image.
As the council, it is okay, because let the security go and make everything there okay before you can go there. Because not ordinary person that can just get up one day and say I'm going to some place. You have to make arrangement, make security be okay there before you can go there.
In a related issue, President of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Ayo Orishe Jaffa, has called on the federal government to impose full-scale emergency rule in the northeast states of Adamawa, Borno, and Yobe, where the activities of the Boko Haram Islamic sect have been on the increase. According to him, the federal government has been giving the states soft landing with the emergency rule, saying a full military operation without civilians will restore normalcy to the northeast. speaking to journalists at a special prayer in Abuja for the protection and safe arrival of the over 230 abducted female students of Government Secondary School, Chibok in Borno State. He stated that the existence of the governance of the three states side by side with military operation had not produced the desired result. The current president states that the extension of emergency rule in the three states will be justified, insisting that without the military operations, the dreaded sect would have taken over government in the affected state. He cited the example of Borno State, where prior to the declaration of the emergency rule, insurgents had carved out the greater percentage of the state for their own role. To effectively prosecute the war on terror, the Nigerian Army has been advised to create a special force to tackle insurgency in the country. A retired colonel of the Nigerian Army, Adetuji Ajayi, says fighting terrorism requires additional strategy that is beyond weaponry. Oluwaseyi Adegoke has more in this report from our studios.
Recently, the fight against insurgency in Nigeria took a worrisome dimension when soldiers attached to the 7th Infantry Division of the Nigerian Army Maiduguri went on shooting rampage to protest what they term sabotage of their strategies, which is claiming daily casualties. The enraged soldiers went wild when 10 of them lost their lives to insurgents' ambush. They shot at everything in sight, including their general officer commanding. In a similar vein, the United States Director for African Affairs at the U.S. Defense Department, Alice Friend, says its security forces had been slow to adapt with new strategies and new tactics in Nigeria owing to lack of proper coordination. She also says the U.S. was unable to offer immediate aid to Nigeria's military because of troubling atrocities perpetrated by some Nigerian army units during operations against Boko Haram, describing the soldiers as an extremely challenging partner to work with. This retired military colonel believes that a completely new approach should be introduced to fighting terrorism in Nigeria.
It's not that Nigerian military has no capacity to fight this operation, but the point is we need to adopt unusual. By now, we should have had special forces who will be looking for no other person than Shekau. I'm going to grab it.
He admonished Nigerian political class to close ranks to fight insurgency and desist from using terror attack to blame opponents.
I personally believe that the political office holders are paying protection fees to Boko Haram. They are one of the sources of their funding. Otherwise, have you ever had them attack a commissioner? Have you ever had them attack a chairman of a council? Unless that chairman is the concrete fan, anyway. Have you ever had them attack any person of substance? They are paying protection money now. So if the government declares total state of emergency, no money comes to that place, they will come to their knees within 3 months. If no money comes to that place.
The nation continue in the search for permanent solution to the incessant insurgent attacks on Nigeria.
Mixed reactions continue to trail President Jonathan's request to the National Assembly asking to extend state of emergency rule in 3 northeast states of Yobe, Adamawa and Borno, where terror attacks are rife. Fred Izako, a legal practitioner, believes that the state of emergency have prevented a full-scale insurgent attack in the northeast state. He made this disclosure while participating in a flagship morning program called Digest. Tomi Ojo has more in this report presented from our studios.
The upper chamber of the National Assembly was thrown into confusion during the week when it was decided to consider President Jonathan's request to have the state of emergency in 3 northeast states of Adamawa, Yobe and Borno extended. Senators from the north were of the opinion that the state of emergency declaration has not improved security situation in the region in the last 1 year that it has been in operation. On the other hand, their counterparts from the south argued that the state of emergency has prevented a full-scale destruction of lives and property in the region. Their position seems to be strengthened by this lawyer who says that a state of emergency in the northeast is necessary to guarantee security. He stressed that the emergency declaration should have been on a full scale.
It has not been very effective as we expect. But what would have happened if there was no emergency rule? My only worry and where I blame the federal government is this half-hearted emergency rule that is in place. Emergency rule that has the toga of politics runs foul of military system. Because what we expected and what we say advocate is that there should be a full-blown emergency rule. When there is full-blown emergency rule, the governor should not be in the government house talking. He will be in his house.
In his opinion, President Jonathan's 2015 political ambition stands in the way of proper reasoning.
Politics. 2015. Who does not know? You want it to come from my mouth? 2015. That has become a major consideration. It has become so much a major consideration that the elite do not care a hoot about the life of the downtrodden. How many bomb blasts have killed a minister? How many bomb blasts has killed a governor? How many bomb blasts has killed even their children? But this time there's a bomb blast, the masses are the ones that get killed. Because there is fortified security around the elite. But the people are left open to be killed like chicken. So that is why the whole consideration is 2015.
A social commentator, Bola Oba, says the insurgency in the north is as a result of long years of neglect by the leadership of the region.
When it comes to the issue of securities, the politicians will bring themselves together, talk to themselves, and let themselves know that you don't play politics with security issues. Because when you play politics with security issues, you are practically playing the state to the hand of the rebellious elements, in this case, the terrorists. We will find it difficult to annihilate the same Nigerian army that went to Liberia, the same Nigerian army that went to Sierra Leone, unknown topography, and whacked two terrorist groups. That same Nigerian army is the one fighting on his own terrain here, and it is because our politicians have not gotten it right.
He has a word of advice for the political class, saying they should heed warnings not to allow insurgency truncate democracy in the country. The House of Reps voted yes to the extension of emergency rule in northeast states of Adamawa, Yobe, and Borno.
The federal government has told the Federal High Court in Abuja that the call by a suspected mastermind of the October 1, 2010 bombing for a family doctor to determine his fitness to stand trial had no legal basis. The counsel prosecuting Awka on behalf of the federal government, Alex Zian, urged Justice Gabriel Kolawole to dismiss an application by the accused seeking a fresh psychiatric examination by the family doctor. The lawyer says the request by Awka seeking an order of court allowing him to be examined by a doctor to be nominated by a family doctor is unfounded in law and has never been heard of. Awka's lawyer, John Aneto, says at the hearing of the application that he is not saying that the report by the National Hospital should be jettisoned, but that it should be compared with the reports of a neutral independent medical practitioner. He added that the National Hospital was biased because it concluded that the accused person was fit to stand trial despite admitting that he was suffering, among others, occasional hallucinations, loss of consciousness, and intermittent muscular jerks. Awka, in his recent appearances in court, was consigned on a wheelchair and made unintelligible gestures during proceedings. The federal government is, however, insisting that he was only pretending and that he is fit to be prosecuted. Justice Kolawole later fixed June 9 for ruling on the application. Now determined to rid Ogun State of pipeline vendors, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps has warned communities along NNPC installations to desist from providing cover for oil thieves. Ogun State Public Relations Officer of NSCDC, Karim Olariwaju, admonishes residents of oil communities in the state to always come up with useful information that may help curb the activities of criminals. Tamina Mispedibote was in Abeokuta brought back this report.
Pipeline vandalization in Nigeria has assumed monstrous dimensions, with many lives lost to pipeline fires owing to activities of oil theft. Also, clashes between vandals and security agents have been producing casualties on both sides. The frequent cases of pipeline vandalization along the Arekpo community of Ogun State has become a source of worry to security operatives in the country. The Ogun State spokesman for the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Karim Olanrewaju, attributed the incessant vandalization of pipelines along the Arekpo community to lack of accessible roads.
But the issue is that the terrain through which they pass is quite different from one place to another. For instance, when you talk of Arekpo, the terrain of Arekpo is quite different to the terrain that we are having around Fidiwo here.
He stressed that provision of employment for the youth in the area would also assist in curbing the menace of pipeline vandalism.
In some cases, we also discover that those people that are employed by NNPC or even the local people themselves, talking of the KBSC, Bale, and so on and so forth, that were employed through the NNPC to safeguard this pipeline, those who are indigent. In some cases, we see them collaborating with the real funder. You see, when you also look at this, a situation whereby people, there are so many people that doesn't have a means of livelihood. So, if they see somebody who can, without stress, part with 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, as the case may be, of course, they will want to render the service.
He emphasized that the Corps encourages community policing by residents to complement the efforts of the Corps in fighting vandals. The Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps clarion call is for all to join in to fight saboteurs with the Nigerian economy. It is the desire of all well-meaning Nigerians that a lasting solution is found to the incessant vandalization of pipelines in the country. Tam name is Speedy Bote. Core TV News, Abeokuta.
You're watching Core TV Primetime News. We'll take a short break. We'll be back with the rest of the stories. Join us again.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ghana. Please remain seated and ensure your seatbelts are fastened. You can now turn on your MTN mobile phone data to enjoy a browsing rate of 5 kobo per kilobyte with MTN One World. Thank you.
Absolutely. Browse like home with MTN One World. Surfing the web from any MTN operating country costs the same like home. Enjoy affordable rates when you call and send text messages. Terms and conditions apply.
MTN. Everywhere you go.
The global competitive map is changing with the rapid advancement of Africa. If you're not speaking to Africa this time, perhaps you're not speaking at all. Join the continent's leading public relations practitioners at the 26th edition of the All-African Public Relations Association Conference, APRA Mauritius 2014.
Venue, Le Méridien Hotel, Point aux Piments, Mauritius. Date,
27th to 31st May 2014. Theme, Advancing Africa. For further details, visit www.afapr.org. Africa, it's time to find your goals. Supported by
this One Wash Challenge will test Ariel to see if it removes stains in one wash. Let the challenge begin. First, chocolate and juice. We will wash shirts with Ariel. Look, Ariel has cleaned in just one wash. So which detergent removes stains in one wash? Ariel, P&G Everyday Quality Brand.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digi360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
If you're just joining us, you're watching Core TV Primetime News. For more information on our news and other programs, visit us on our Facebook page, ebook.com/Core TV News. You can also follow us on Twitter at Core TV News NG. Also on YouTube, visit www.youtube.com/CoreTV News Space News. An Abuja Federal High Court has adjourned the case of a former governor of Bayelsa State, Timuriye Silva, till July 3 following the absence of the trial judge. At the resumed sitting on Friday, a court official informed counsel and parties that the judge was bereaved. The matter was consequently adjourned to July 3 for continuation of hearings. Silva, Francis Okokuro, Benga Balogun, Samuel Obuku, Maryland Maritime Limited, Eat Catering Services Limited, and Halloween Blue Construction and Logistics Limited were standing trial over an alleged 19.2 billion naira fraud. They were being tried before Justice Ahmed Mohammed on 42 counts bordering on money laundering, conspiracy, and stealing of money belonging to the Bayelsa government when Silva was governor. The Independent National Electoral Commission has inaugurated a National Interagency Advisory Committee on Voter Education and Publicity to provide effective strategies for voter education. While inaugurating the committee, INEC Chairman Atahiru Jega says the committee would provide a platform for proper coordination and synergy in enlightening Nigerians on the electoral process. He said there is a need to boost voter education nationwide as the Commission prepares for 2015 general elections. Jega says that voter education is important to considerably reduce, if not completely eliminate, ignorance of electoral matters and process to ensure participation by all qualified citizens. The committee will be headed by INEC Information and Publicity Committee at the national level. While the Federal High Court sitting in Ado-Ekiti has struck out the case filing by the Obafemi Adedayo faction of Ekiti State Labour Party to declare the current executive as illegal. Rashid has more in this report from our studios.
The internal wrangling for the leadership of Labour Party in the state was said to have stemmed from the arrival of BB coalition led by Okpeyemi Bamidele, triggering a change in leadership. Some party executives went to court asking that the court declares the Congress that produced the current executive null and void, and also declare the Obafemi Adedayo faction as the authentic executives. But the case was struck out. The court says it is a political matter which should be resolved within the party.
We are highly disappointed. It's like we don't know what has actually happened, but we know that is not the judgment the judge should have delivered. He has only tried to play down the whole thing by saying that it is a Labour Party affair and things like that.
The case is what the doctor we call a BID, brought in dead. It was a case that lacked me from the onset. Because these people were not even our members. They just masqueraded themselves as Labour Party members.
The Obafemi Adedayo faction vowed to appeal the judgment, a move described as an effort and futility by Olowo Kere.
Yeah. Well, our next line of action is to appeal against the judgment because we feel we have very good grounds for appeal. The judge has ignored certain preliminary objections raised by our counsel.
Yeah, let them go ahead. They will suffer the same fate they have suffered today. So, you know, an appeal, when you go to the appeal court, you file all your views at the trial court, at the initial trial court.
The stand by this faction of the party is seen as a move that would interfere in the move to reconcile the warring factions.
If we are able to, you know, meet halfway, you know, we're able to organize ourselves and meet halfway, we might form a very formidable party. On their part, no, not yet. They have not been making any moves at all. And so we're waiting.
Party politics, we welcome everybody. Even if they belong to APC, they want to come back to Labour Party, we want them. Because party politics is a game of number. So if they want to join Labour Party today, they are free, let them come.
Some say that the internal fight experienced in the party will affect its chances in the forthcoming governorship election.
If we're able to resolve the issues between us and, you know, we're able to reorganize ourselves, well, the Labour Party has the brightest of all chances of winning the election.
We have built our house on a very solid rock and we are winning the election. All the effort made by APC to truncate and to destabilize us had failed because we are focused.
Ekiti State has seen so many political disagreements and crises ranging from inter-party and intra-party crises. This has called for the need to promote peace as the June governorship election draws close.
Away from that now, Lagos State Commissioner for Transport has called on residents to stop burdening private taxis with other colors except yellow. He says the proper use of regulated transport system is one of the ways to reduce kidnapping. Olajumoke Olatoji has details in this report.
The Ministry of Transport says it has achieved successes in providing an efficient transport system in the state. The establishment of Lagos Ferry Services Company, Lagos Taxi Modem Scheme are some of the achievements the Commissioner enumerated. The ministry says it also graduated some students from the School of Transport.
Lagos came up with a transportation policy that set from the onset the provision of a safe, reliable, efficient, integrated multimodal transportation system for sustainable economic growth with a lot of input from the private sector. Because of the slow pace of investment in the water sector, even though there are a lot of investment, the state government have also established a new company called the Lagos Ferry Services Company. And they have launched with 2 catamarans that can take 54 people at a time on our waterways, and they are currently running on the Oworoshoki-Falomo route, and they will soon start running the Ikorodu-Elegbata route.
The Commissioner called on residents to stop patronizing private taxis with all the colors except yellow, which he identifies as one of the ways to reduce crimes such as kidnapping in the state.
I am proud to inform you we have been able to signalize 2 corridors in a way that we can synchronize. And one of them, you would think I will make sure Victoria Island. Fortunately, it's Agege-Buto Road and Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway. Excellency will soon flag off the Lagos modern taxi system. Under this modern taxi system, prior to now, you need to get a brand new vehicle to enter. We have lowered it. You will now need a vehicle not older than 5 years at the point of entry. All those who are currently operating a vehicle where they put taxi on top and they are not painted yellow and they are not part of our taxi system, please don't enter them. They are illegal. And if something happens to you taking those taxis, please don't blame the state.
A regulated parking policy that congested roads around Lagos is a policy the ministry says it is proud of. The Commissioner says the ministry has successfully implemented a database which now has 23,000 operators.
We have created a database. If we can do, they can put it up later. It's called lagroute.org, www.lagroute.org. On that website, we have registered those who are compliant and have gone for registration. Very soon we'll be issuing out the passenger vehicle license, and it is this regard I'm appealing to transport operators. If you are not on that database, you are not qualified to drive as a driver, to operate as a conductor, or to operate as the owner of a vehicle on Lagos roads.
As one of the key indicators in this administration, so much success has been recorded in this ministry with the continuation of the state government's objective of providing good transportation system for the residents of Lagos. Olajumoke Olatunji, Core TV News, Lagos.
Still on Lagos, the state government has taken over the abandoned Egon Igondo housing scheme. This was disclosed by the Commissioner, Ministry of Housing at a press briefing. Olajumoke Olatunji was there and filed in this report.
Addressing the public at the press briefing, the Commissioner, Ministry of Housing, Bosun Jeje, says that the Lagos State government is taking over the Egon Igondo project and has awarded it to another contractor. He promised depositors of the housing project that the houses will be completed soon.
So Lagos State government has taken over that project. It has been re-awarded and contractors are already moving to site. And those that are deposited shall be called either to come and complete their deposit, or those that are fully deposited to come and take over their units the moment it is completed.
The ministry says the Lagos Home Initiative, maintenance of existing housing estates, are some achievements of the ministry in the last 1 year.
Well, the policy and the principle between with Lagos Homes
is that it is open to all Lagosians, irrespective of whether you are a civil servant or you are artisan or you are in the informal sector. It is open to all tax-paying residents, and you must be resident in Lagos State and be a LASTRA, Lagos State Resident Registration Agency member.
The commissioner urged residents of Lagos to report any landlord who violates the tenancy law. He disclosed that 250 people are currently under interrogation for violation of the law.
Right now, we have about 250 that have been reported, and the police are investigating them. But I can say that about 3 of them have been successfully prosecuted. The incidence of fraud of estate agents has decreased substantially because people now have where to go and report to, and people have where to go and make inquiries before they can deal with an estate agent.
The Ministry of Housing boasts of housing schemes and estates believed to have eased the housing difficulties faced by residents in Lagos. Olajumoke Olatunji, Core TV News, Lagos.
The Academic Staff Union of Universities has called for the overhaul of the country's economic model. National President of the union, Nasir Fage, called for the review of the nation's privatization policy, which allowed for a wholesale privatization of public investment and asset. Fage says the security challenges facing the country were the direct consequences of non-provision of responsive governance and quality education in the country, adding that the ruling elites have systematically edged out the problem of people from the governance equation. He listed the menace of Boko Haram robberies, traumatic kidnappings, militancy, the senseless tribal religious scuffle, violence, and the avoidance electoral malpractice as problems tearing the country apart. The ASU president urged Nigerians to demand and insist on getting protection of life and property rights entrenched in the Constitution from the government house. You're watching Core TV Primetime News. We'll take a short break. The Primetime News returns shortly. Stay with us.
The global competitive map is changing with the rapid advancement of Africa. If you're not speaking to Africa this time, perhaps you're not speaking at all. Join the continent's leading public relations practitioners at the 26th edition of the All-African Public Relations Association Conference, APRA Mauritius 2014. Venue, Le Meridian Hotel, Point Oxpiment, Mauritius. Date, 27th to 31st May 2014. Theme, Advancing Africa. For further details, visit www.afapr.org. Africa, it's time to find your voice. Supported by
This One Wash Challenge will test Ariel to see if it removes stains in one wash. Let the challenge begin. First, chocolate and juice. We will wash shirts with Ariel. Look, Ariel has cleaned in just one wash. So which detergent removes stains in one wash? Ariel, P&G Everyday Quality Brand.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ghana. Please remain seated and ensure your seatbelts are fastened. You can now turn on your MTN mobile phone data to enjoy a browsing rate of 5 kobo per kilobyte with MTN One World. Thank you.
Absolutely. Browse like home with MTN One World. Surfing the web from any MTN operating country costs the same like home. Enjoy affordable rates when you call and send text messages. Terms and conditions apply.
MTN, everywhere you go.
Nigerians continue to
Tonight, the city of Lagos once again has all
to you.
Be the first to know.
Core TV News
from the north, south, east, west, and around Africa. We break the news.
One Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are Core TV News.
Welcome to Core TV,
24-hour news station.
You're still watching Core TV Primetime News. For more information on our news and other programs, visit us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Core TV News. You can also follow us on Twitter at Core TV News NG. Also on YouTube, www.youtube.com/Core TV Space News. And outside Nigeria now, 10 people were killed and over 70 wounded in 2 bomb attacks in a busy market in the Kenyan capital Nairobi, the latest in the wave of unrest. The twin bombings came as hundreds of British tourists were being evacuated from beach resort near the port city of Mombasa after Britain's Foreign Office and other nations issued new travel warnings. The National Disaster Operations Center says the first blast and the capital occurred next to a 14-seater public minibus, and the second was inside a shop in Gikomba Market close to Nairobi's Central Business District. A spokesman at the Kenyatta National Hospital said 8 bodies had been brought in and more than 70 people admitted for treatment, many of them in a serious condition. Nairobi Police Chief Benson Kibwe confirmed that 2 bombs had been used and the area was littered with debris including clothing hauled into overhead power and telephone lines. Kibwe urged residents not to panic. He said 2 suspects had been arrested. There have been no verified claims of responsibility for the latest bombings, although Kenyan authorities have been engaged in a major security crackdown on suspected Shabab supporters in Nairobi and Mombasa. The operation has focused on Nairobi's main Somali district, Ile, and residents have accused police of discriminately arresting people of Somali origin. A Kigomba market is situated adjacent to Ile. The road to the #1 position for India's Narendra Modi has been described as a long journey. Indians have expressed optimism in the ability of Modi to revive the country's dwindling economy. In this report, correspondent Martin Dixon takes a look at the many obstacles that Modi has to deal with. The report.
It's the end of a long journey to power for Narendra Modi, the man forecast to be India's next prime minister. His BJP party and his allies crushed the incumbent Congress party following a marathon election that gripped the nation and resulted in the highest ever turnout. Modi, who is chief minister for the western state of Gujarat, gained support across the country with promises of strong leadership and economic development.
I've been to Gujarat, and I saw good roads, good infrastructure, good hotels. It was quite like America. When Modi comes, there will be progress.
With Modi, there'll definitely be change. We've had the Congress party for 10 years. They've done nothing in that time.
Modi's father earned a modest living selling tea at this railway station. As a boy, his son joined the right-wing Hindu nationalist movement with close ties to the BJP.
Gandhi dynasty lost the country's general election as Narendra Modi won the election. Dynasty rule dates back to premiership of Jawaharlal Nehru, who was India's first leader after British colonial rule. The Congress party congratulated the new prime minister in a press conference.
I'd like to start by congratulating the new government. They've been given a mandate by the people of our country. So I wish the new government all the best. From my part, Congress party has done pretty badly. There's a lot for us to think about. And as vice president of the party, I hold myself responsible for what has happened.
And finally, the United Nations has warned of an alarming deterioration of human rights in eastern Ukraine, where an armed insurgency by pro-Russia separatists is threatening a presidential election just over a week away. United Nations Rights Chief catalogued a litany of targeted killings, torture, beatings, abductions, intimidation, and some cases of sexual harassment, which he says was carried out by anti-government groups in the east. With the May 25 vote approaching, Kiev's interim leaders are battling to keep Ukraine from disintegrating further after Russia's annexation of Crimea in March.
Attacks on journalists, abduction, unlawful detention, killings, torture, and that, of course, especially in the areas that are in the control of armed groups that are undertaking also a number of other unlawful activities. We are talking about now 7,200 IDPs, mostly Crimean Tatars, that have left Crimea and relocated in other parts of Ukraine. The numbers in our report, which we issued on 15 April, talked about 3,000 and a few hundreds. So you could say that there has been already an increase of 100% from last month to this month of IDPs from Crimea.
That has been the package on our Primetime News tonight. Many thanks for watching. I am Frank Omalape. Join us at top of the hour for News Judgment. Good night.